Welcome back to the show where we run you through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. After anything the news you need to know about, we run you through the fan Q&A where we answer fans' questions. Tons of injury news to talk about. A lot of positive injury news, which is good. This first news story comes from SportsIllustrated.com from Omar Kelly. The Dolphins have activated River Craycraft to the active roster, so he'll return versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And they waived cornerback Kelvin Joseph, who they got in a trade for Iguanagani from the Dallas Cowboys. That never worked out. For what he was, obviously brought here as a. He was obviously brought here as a special teams guy, and that just never materialized. But getting Craycraft back is a huge deal. Chase Claypool is getting a lot of those minutes. Spelling Hill and Waddle, and he was probably getting more minutes than he should have because of because of the Waddle stuff. Waddle not being 100% healthy, didn't take as many snaps as he normally would. So getting Craycraft back is a big deal. He really helps that third option as well. We really had a good thing going. That was and I've said this many times, that was one of the biggest weaknesses of last year's team, is there really wasn't a third guy on the offense on a consistent basis. And this year, because of the improved run game from a year ago, the combination of that, and I think Craycraft as well, and Barrios, who's a great addition to the team, really has developed a really nice third option to the pass game, to Hill and Waddle. There's other things you have to worry about when you play us. So getting him back is a big deal. He's a great route runner. He's a really nice chain mover. When you have to respect Hill and Waddle, when you have to respect those two, he's a really nice possession receiver over the middle. And he's a really good run blocker. And honestly, God bless him. You would think at 6'5" and probably 230, Chase Claypool would be good at that. He's been kind of hit or miss when it comes to run blocking, especially on screens. And one thing I want to mention before we stop talking about the receivers, not only are they getting Craycraft back, but Cedric Wilson, because of the absence of Waddle at times, and obviously Craycraft not being in the lineup, Cedric has really had to step up. And I thought he's actually he's been playing very good football since he's been asked to do that. He did miss that screen, or miss that block on the infamous screen that we don't have to talk about any further than that. Other than that, he's been really good this year. I think he's looked really nice. He's looked more healthy than he has in the past. Looks more comfortable on the team. He's been making some impact plays really ever since the end of last year. And so I think they're really, this is the healthiest they've been at the skill positions and running back and receiver. So the Craycraft thing, I think, is going to help out for all the reasons we just discussed. And I think the run game is going to improve a little bit too with him as well coming back. The Dolphins have also opened Devon Achane's practice window. He's not officially activated yet, but he can return to IR at any time. From IR, This is what Joe Shad is a big writer for the Miami Dolphins. He said in a tweet, Dolphins running back Achane, and this is his observations from practice. He says, Dolphins running back Achane knee seems to be moving normally at Monday practice, as in fast, explosive, and dynamic. He also added that Jalen Waddle looks totally normal. And Waddle said himself that he the bye week really has helped him with his injury stuff, which is great. And Achane, he's such an explosive player. He doesn't need that much blocking. You know what I mean? Especially on the edges. We've seen the lack of physical talent that Ahmed and Jeff Wilson have. And it's just not the same. It is much worse. It's much less powerful, some of the run schemes that we have when they're on the field. Much less of a threat than the other guys. So not only it's just going to help, it just helps the offense. It helps put more stress on the defense, and there's not going to be any drop off when Mostert comes out of the game, which was a big problem. Anytime Raheem Mostert left the game, like I said, those two just they couldn't keep up the pace, and it's not as, it's not as good as the other two. So getting him back is really going to help with the 1-2 punch of Mostert and A-Chain, and there's really not going to be any let up when the two spell each other, which is a pretty big deal. And he does help in the pass game. He presents a lot of matchup issues for defenses, and he's a really good receiver as well. And it sucks he got hurt, because I really wanted him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Obviously, C.J. Stroud's popping off, so that's, that dream might not be dead. Who knows what happens in the second half of the season, because A-Chain's numbers are still really good. He could still have over 1,000 yards and a lot of touchdowns because of his really, really good start. So I'm looking forward. I can't wait to get him back into the lineup, and it's going to be really, really fun. Hopefully he can come back for the Raiders game. He still has time to be activated for it. By all accounts, he's looked really nice in practice, so I'm excited about that. Let's see. I think that's it for the injury news. I want to make sure, because I don't know if I forgot, but Brandon Jones is obviously someone that I think everybody's kind of concerned about. I don't think we have any update on him currently. He might be back I would assume he'd be back. I would assume he would have cleared concussion protocol and is going to be back for this game. Not that I don't want to say it and be mean, because the last game that he played, he looked really good. But Deshaun Elliott is a really good player as well. So there's not much of a difference between the two, which is good. That's it for the injury news, I think. It's going to be nice to have Armstead back too, with Connor and Robert Hunt as well, which is a big deal. And hopefully they can. I hope they don't miss any more games. That's I think the biggest hope for the rest of the year. Is they don't miss any more games, for the love of God. So it's gonna be nice to get all of these guys back and healthy again. You can really reunite the unit that was so hot at the beginning of the year. I don't think there's anything else more to talk about than that. It's gonna be a really short podcast. I was trying to think if there's anything. It's gonna be nice to come back home. That's for sure. To have a home game in Miami, but I'm excited just to have Dolphins football back. Getting it, like I said, and I'm gonna repeat myself for the 15 millionth time. It's what I was gonna say. Oh, I got distracted. Okay, it's gonna be nice to have everybody back in the offense together. I miss watching the guys on Sunday. It's such a good team. The defense is really improving. They look great. Like I said, they lead their top 3 in hits and sacks. I think actually top 5 in sacks, top 3 in hits. The secondary has gotten much better. The linebacker play is much better. I think the team is honestly better than it was at the beginning of the year, and the potential of this team is still really high. The division is in shambles. The Jets' offense is anemic, and their offensive. It is an awful matchup when they play us. Their offensive line is terrible. They have no pass game, and we have one of the best front sevens in the National Football League. So the division, obviously Buffalo, who really hasn't been able to overcome their injuries on the defensive side of the football. It's really hurt them. And the division is not great. We've already swept the Patriots. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to say anything. But if the Dolphins have, and as I've said all year, that's all I want is a home playoff game. That's all I can ask for. That's all I want. Just in summary, the offense should be better. The interior is healthier. The receiving core is healthier. The defense is better. This team has a real chance to be really good and has a chance to be the best team in the league. I really do believe that. If they can, really honestly, if they could just keep it up. I know a lot of people are making, against winning record teams. Some of the circumstances of those games, I mean, the Chiefs game was really close, and we don't have to get into it, but that doesn't really bother. It actually makes me even more confident, especially with the defense played against the Chiefs. So yeah, I really like this team. I really like where they're headed, and I'm excited to watch the rest of the season. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. One more thing, I forgot to mention this, and as I was ending this video, I was like, looked down at my stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. There's a lot of cuts and a lot of, obviously people were cut and fired over the weekend, or over the Monday and Tuesday. And one of them that I thought was really interesting, that the Dolphins could totally get on waivers. I don't know if he's already been claimed. Let me check. Really nice player. I have no idea why he was cut. I think he's still a really good player. He's only 24. But Michael Carter. And we just talked about the running back issues. And first of all, he's really fast. Great acceleration. I think he's got good vision. Really nice open field ability. He was just a part of a really bad Jets offense. So, and again, his speed is the level it needs to be to run this scheme. I think to me, he's got Dolphin written all over him. So I don't know if, I hope they're at least looking into it. Yeah, you're just a really good player and really nice receiving ability as well, as a receiver. So fits the scheme perfectly. Really athletic. Great. I think he's got good vision, good open field ability as well, and he's only 24. So I'd be knocking on Chris Grier's door right now if I was Mike McDaniel talking about Michael Carter. Really weird that they let him go. I know that they wanted to get they just have too many running backs, honestly, for being real. But yeah, I really like Michael Carter. I hope he becomes a Dolphin. Think it's a great scheme fit. In case one of those two gets hurt, he can come in and I think replace the production a lot better than Jeff Wilson and Ahmed. And I've said this many times, and I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing about it, but Jeff Wilson he does not look the same. I don't know what happened, whether it was just the injuries piling up, or we've just seen better running back play in comparison to him. Maybe that's like the reason it's so shell-shocking, but he doesn't look right. And Ahmed is just very limited with his ability. He's an okay player. But I think Michael Carter, much more talented, and would have a really nice potential from the pass game and run game in this offense. So I forgot to mention this, but I really like Michael Carter. Would be a nice pickup for the team. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now I guess the video is over. I'll see you guys in the next one.